You guys, you already know who it is. It's your boy Tommy with Tommy Ross Music. It's Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend. So I posed the question: who is the real true king of rock and roll? And man, let me tell you, I love Elvis. And this isn't. I'm not even really trying to say that Elvis isn't the king of rock and roll, because he is. And it depends on how you want to look at it, right? Album sales or whatever. But I think even Elvis knew, and everyone, pays homage to Chuck Berry. And for pretty much establishing that 4/4 rock and roll sound. I mean, I can just let his licks do the talking. And he was so rude with it. Not to mention all his dance moves, right? So, really, this video, I really just want to talk about how to play that. Maybe not so much getting into the specifics of the lead part, but the rhythm and why rhythm is so important, and how maybe you need to get yourself a loop pedal so you can start perfecting your rhythm, which we tend to overlook, and we get right to the fun stuff, which is the lead. But in reality, music is a majority rhythm playing, right? The lead is actually just a small percentage on top of that. So it's time to really lock down a few of these concepts, like the Chuck Berry 4/4 rock and roll. Kind of derived from that 12-bar rock and roll blues thing. So if you know the 12-bar blues, and if you watch my blues beginner video or the intro to blues video, you'll be familiar with a few of these concepts, if not all of them. So we're in the key of A sharp or B flat. Okay, it's index finger, 6th fret, low E string, and your ring finger playing the 5 of this scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So you're basically just playing this little power chord. And the bottom string, or the top strings, can be muted with lightly resting the rest of your finger. See, I'm not pressing down my entire finger here, I'm just... And you can maybe put this finger down to strum those top 2 strings. The rest are muted. So you don't have to focus too hard on just the bottom 2 strings, So then you'll take that same galloping shape, right? You got that 1st, that 5th, and your pinky's trilling a half step or a whole step on and off from that 5th note. Okay? up a set of strings. I say up because we're going up in pitch, but really, you know, looking at it, you're going down. So take that same shape down and back up. Now we're going to jump to the 5th note. Remember that 5th note in the first chord? That's going to be your root now, and we're going to build that same shape, same power chord shape on the 8th and the 10th fret of the D string, 8th on the A string, 10th on the D string, back to the 4th, up to the 1st. What do you mean by 1st, 4th, and 5th? Well, let's look at the 7 or 8 notes in a major scale, rooted off the note that this song is in, A sharp. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. There's 8 notes, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice the 1 and the 4 are stacked directly on top of each other, right? And then what's next? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know the major scale. So off that note, we build a power chord. Go back to the 4th note with the power chord shape. Back to the 1st note. And that kind of verbiage right there is kind of known as the Nashville numbering system, or the Nashville songwriting system. Okay? If you go to Nashville and you want to be in a band and perform with those guys, you got to be able to communicate in that language. Hey, go to the 1, the minor third, the major third, you know, the 4, the 5, the flat 5, right? So, okay, still on the 1 now, to the 4, back to the 1, now to the 5, now to the 4, now to the 1, now go back to that 5 to restart. It's kind of like a turnaround, right? But I don't necessarily, you can go back and play that same power chord shape, so you can play the 1, you know, you can, as far as the turnaround goes, you know, 5, 4, 1. Now back to that 5, you can jump to that power chord shape and restart. Now I like to jump to the, so this is an F note in particular, okay? And instead of just doing the F power chord, I like to do an F9 chord. It's got a little more flavor, a little more character, right? More color to it. So an F9 is going to be middle finger on the A string, 8th fret, index finger on the D string, 7th fret, ring finger on the G string, 8th fret, and pinky finger on the B string, 8th fret. It's kind of like that C shape. Okay, and that's the 5 that I like to. So, you know. Alright, here comes the big 5. Right? To the 4. 5. To the 4. To the 1. Back to the 5. Now, quick little tip, I'm not going to go into the details of you know, I'm not going to get into all of that, but if you know your A minor, or excuse me, your A sharp minor pentatonic, so not your A a half step up now, A sharp. If you know those notes, add that blue note, that flat fifth. Okay, there it is. There it is again. So there you go. So that's pretty much it. I want to dedicate this video to my uncle Richard. He told me when I was younger, look, you're never gonna be nothing if you can't play Johnny Be Good. If you don't know who Chuck Berry is and you can't play Johnny Be Good, and by that time I had heard of Elvis. I hadn't heard of Chuck Berry, and I was like, whoa, you know, I was 12, which is crazy, right? 12 years old, still hadn't, maybe 12 or 13 probably. Still hadn't heard of Chuck Berry. And you know, this video is obviously dedicated to Chuck Berry as well as who I consider the king of rock and roll. You know, Elvis kind of got all the attention for that, and you know, we can get into that another episode. But either way, guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, follow, and ring the bell so you know when I go live. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you next time.